You may have played against a deck that he helped bring to the forefront of the format, or you may have played against him as well. Saidin.Raken or Kalikaiz is a true master of the format, mastering decks such as Familiars and Tron, and helping more recently bringing poison counters to the table. In this week's episode, we sit down and talk to him about how and when he got started in Magic, skateboarding, music, his card selection process, how he tests decks, and how he coaches other players, all while we shuffle up and play against each other in this week's player profile.
We're up against the boss, Saidin.Raken, boss battle.
Joining with me today on this interview is Saidin.Raken or Kalikaiz. Welcome. I want to say thank you for doing this first and foremost.
Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
So I will give you a fair warning that this is I've noticed it's kind of hard at least for me to keep up with the game and doing the questions. But I want to ask out of the gate, your name on Magic Online is Saidin.Raken, but on YouTube it's Kalikaiz. So why the different names and like how did they come about?
So the name of Saidin.Raken was created when I first joined Magic Online way back. Joined in like 2001 or 2002, I think. One of the first people to get on the program. My friend introduced me to Magic when I was in high school. And then since we didn't live near each other, we decided to join Magic Online to play, which is like a lot easier to get games and stuff. But then Kalikaiz was just, I was like trying to come up with the handle much later on. And I just decided to try to do something that I like the sound of, like phonetically. So I just kind of made up some syllables together and put it together.
Gotcha.
So like that's what I go by now, but the Saidin.Raken is from the Wheel of Time book series that we were super into at the time.
Okay,
so,
I've
like,
never heard of that.
Yep, it's a pretty cool, like really, really well-known fantasy novel series. And the Saidin is the magic for the males, and then Raken is just like this dragon creature that some people ride around.
Gotcha.
So we had like our little clan on Magic Online where we were playing stuff, and like the Saidin clan or whatever.
Right
It was
on.
cool.
So you said you started back in high school. Around when did you start playing Magic, and how did your friend get you into it?
Well, I went over to my buddy's house, and he had some cards of some kind. I really don't understand what they were, but the thing I remember the most was he had some flanking cards, and I was just like, this is unfair. I can't. What happens if I double block? The thing just dies. So there was some flanking, and I think maybe even banding. But then we started playing, doing a lot of limited on Magic Online, and playing like. Oh no, kitchen is coming in. Playing, I think we started in Onslaught or Odyssey, whichever one of those was first we played.
Gotcha.
A lot of limited. So then played Magic from there until the end of high school and a little bit in college. And then quit for a long time.
Around
and then
like...
when my...
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
You go.
So when my son was born in 2017... we had to like hold him nonstop when he was sleeping, which was a huge pain, but provided me with a lot of midnight hours to play Magic, basically.
So like around what set was that when you first started getting into it then?
Odyssey and Onslaught.
Odyssey.
Yeah, I think. I remember. Odyssey. I remember a lot of playing Odyssey, Onslaught, and Kamigawa draft.
Right on.
We didn't do super hot, but we always had fun. We spent a lot of money just dumping it into Magic Online.
Yeah, I think just dumping money into Magic's kind of the standard.
Yeah. After like playing Constructed, I stopped putting money in, which is nice. But now I'd have no idea what's going on with Limited.
Right. So what about like Pauper kind of made you jump into Pauper then?
Well, I was playing, well, back in the day when I started playing, we didn't have Planeswalkers. There was damage on the stack. Everything was like very simple.
Hmm.
I started playing limited again when I rejoined, but then I just remember specifically playing against in this set where you could exert your creatures. I played against Glorybringer, and I was just like, this is really dumb. Like there's just bombs all over the place.
Right.
So I didn't want to deal with that, and I wanted to search out for something else. And that was just like more fundamental, no planeswalkers and stuff. And that's why I ended up playing Pauper. There wasn't like anything local to play Pauper. I just kind of fell into it on Magic Online. It was really cheap. You
Hmm.
could play constructed for cheap.
So, you sound like you kind of jumped into Magic Online pretty early on. Did you ever do like much in paper, like at LGSs or anything?
Pretty much only had Magic Online. Like I went to a draft now and then in paper, but I just remember being like, I don't know what to do with these cards. I just I have nothing to do with these. Now I have a decent collection of Pauper cards.
Hmm.
And then I also played Gift Storm in Modern for a little while when
Yeah.
Caleb Shear made the cheap fetchless Gift Storm. That was pretty fun. And then I also was one of the first people to start playing Twiddle Storm, both in Modern and in Pioneer.
I don't think I
So
know what Twiddle Storm is.
so Twiddle Storm is Lotus Field Storm, where you use Twiddle or Dream's Grip to untap the Lotus Field. So that turns your Twiddles into Dark Rituals. And then you use Arcane Splice mechanic to draw through your deck and then get Grape Shot them, which is something that I also played in Pauper, which was super fun. But it was originally a Pauper deck.
Okay.
So when Lotus Field came out, I was like, oh yeah, we have the mechanic for it. We can just port this right into Modern. And then Lotus Field was like super broken with what's its face? Underworld Breach in 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 Pioneer. So they ended up having to ban Underworld Breach, I believe, in Pioneer.
So how is Pioneer? Because I played a little small inkling of it like a year or two ago, but like it's one of them that because Modern for me is kind of shifted into like what Legacy was when I started playing Modern. So I'm like kind
Just
of
price
looking
wise.
for price wise and I think PowerPoint wise.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like looking for something that's a little bit more. I would say a little bit more, uh, slower, but also
Affordable.
like yeah, maybe a little bit more affordable. So I've been looking at Pioneer as like something to kind of break up Pauper a little bit, but I'm like kind of all in on Pauper right now. But I've been kind of eyeing Pioneer. So like, how is Pioneer?
Well, I didn't. I mean, I played a little bit of Pioneer, and then I basically quit the format when last year when we had like the Demir inverter combo, and I was just like, I'm kind of off of this. And then I actually paused it when Mystic Sanctuary came out, and then I was just full in on Pauper because
Hmm.
Mystic Sanctuary made Familiars super good. And then from there, I was just like 100% playing Pauper all the time, just nonstop. I started the Familiars Discord sometime in like late fall of the year that Sanctuary was released, and then started like actually racking up trophies and going infinite and like doing pretty well on Pauper events. So I was just like, yes, I'm gonna be full in on Pauper. So I kind of like dabble. Sometimes I'll hit up a modern or legacy queue, but I'm pretty off of playing Pioneer, mostly just because Pioneer like I got really into doing stuff with cantrips and whatnot.
Hmm.
So like Pioneer doesn't have that whatsoever. You just kind of and like playing off the top of my deck, I really do not like. So I just kind of do my thing. Although I probably play off the top of my deck a lot in decks like Storm or
Yeah.
just Little Festival and stuff like that.
So
So I don't have super big experience in Pioneer really lately, but I was one of the first people to do like double Lotus Field with the 5 mana draw 3 untap. Just like mess around with the Twiddle Storm in Pop or Pioneer and in Modern, which was fun.
so I want to talk. You've kind of pioneered, and I don't know if you're the creator, but we'll talk about that. You've kind of pioneered the the new poison counter storm deck in Pauper.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
was that like your original idea, or like how'd you kind of come about that list? And what's
So what
it feel
happened?
like seeing a lot of people play it?
Oh man, it's definitely sweet to have that under my belt. Like I worked with, I mean, I've helped push a couple of decks, which is awesome. Specifically, I really like the fact I really enjoy the Poison Storm deck. But what happened was Saitama, and I forget what his full name is, David something, but he's a Brazilian, I believe, that was like messing around with playing Poison as like a list that does um, with like Electromancer
Hmm.
and just like Dark Ritual and looping through your deck really fast to try to poison your opponent out. But that was like super bad. It was very inconsistent. And I thought I tried it out on a video and I just found like it was not really going to get there. And I kind of just said that this was a terrible deck and would never happen. Um, we were using the Pentad Prism and that was going okay, but like it still wasn't very good. So then from there, I was just like writing off the deck, and then someone in one of the discords was talking about like a Dice Factory deck that they were doing with Everflowing Chalice. So then from there, I was like, oh man, this Everflowing Chalice card is super good. So then I was using Everflowing Chalice and trying to like get a ton of mana since um the depletion lands are like basically Tron lands if you can keep the mana on them.
Hmm.
And it was going pretty well. Like I think I got a 5-0 like finally after like 6 weeks just like spamming the deck. And then I was watching Cosmic Charles do a video where he was like saying that Thirsting Roots was like a super good card for the deck. And I just from there tweaked the different proliferations in it, and now I think it's in a good spot. But it was really cool to see that Raynar, who is a person that I worked with for all of the Relay Storm,
Hmm.
that he had been able to top 16. I was really excited to see that because I didn't think that anybody was really going to join the train, but the deck just like completely smashes against anybody doing anything fair. Like it just overruns you so bad. There's nothing you can do. You can't get poison counters away.
Yeah.
Just and actually, I saw that Kyotr Pavel he put out an article on Cards Realm today about the deck, and then like I immediately paired into somebody playing it, which was sweet.
um, so like how you've pretty much kind of cornerstone the familiars deck. You're also real big with the Tron Altars deck. Um,
Mhm.
with those kind of decks and stuff, how much of like a role did you play in kind of shaping these decks to where they are now?
So for the Familiars deck, I started playing it before Astrolabe, before Foil Delver, and I was watching 420 Dragon and Blood Pet. So they were playing Familiars, and they were who I like basically just net decked to just do the thing.
Hmm.
Before that, I was playing Boros Monarch, and I just got completely dumpstered by somebody playing Familiars in a local paper event. So I wanted to get on that. Um, I really like just slinging spells and taking a lot of actions. So I tried playing that for a while and just net decking and sometimes getting into the queues, but not that often. And then from there, like when Sanctuary was released, the first person to do a Sanctuary list was Birdman, and he's Entropy 263. And I just copied his list again, like straight up, didn't make any improvements or adjustments, and was like then Birdman kind of quit once they banned Astrolabe. Like you didn't think the deck was going to be as good, but I was playing Familiars like nonstop, still making it happen, and I ended up um, uh, qualifying for some of the Pauper showcases,
Hmm.
and I ended up being able to um, make the finals of the showcase. I won one of the showcases, top eighted it, and got to the like the mocks thing where you qualify for the mocks. but I ended up losing in the finals to CCO Gire out of Italy. So did not make the actual mocks, which was unfortunate.
So what are like some of your biggest accomplishments in terms of like tournament winning and stuff?
I've won a couple of challenges. I won the showcase qualifier once. I made second place in the Pauper Showcase finals. So I was one away from making it to the mock showcase, where like the min cash is $5,000. So it's pretty unfortunate. And then I also worked with Raptor 56 to build the Relay Storm deck, which was a big accomplishment for me specifically. Like just being able to bring when Shatterstorm was banned, I was like, why are we not banning Relay? And nobody really got on that ban Relay train until we finally broke the deck in half. So that was cool.
Nice.
And then I haven't made like finals lately in any of the events. So I feel a little bit like FOMO watching all my friends do well. But you know, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Right. I think I'm about dead here.
Yeah,
Pretty
so
sure
this
you're
is a
about
cool
infinite.
spot
Yeah.
because I can actually play this Faithful here, and then I can flicker the two Archaeomancers, which leaves a mana open. Then
Yeah.
I can get back the Snap and snap the
Keep it
Faithful.
going.
So Familiars is cool because you have to do a teensy tiny bit of math, but mostly you just don't do anything.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
the whole ignore the opponent plan, do your thing.
I'll scoop up so you don't have to
And
keep clicking.
I got a little bit lucky that I had the what's his face, the combo in the main deck here.
Right. Oh.
I think like my biggest accomplishments have been deck building style things lately, and just you know I feel really lucky that I've been putting out the YouTubes that people have been watching and appreciating. I started doing the YouTube videos with familiars just because people asked me to,
Mm-hmm.
and then from there it just like kind of took off. I wasn't expecting to, you know, like try to make that a thing to do, but a friend of mine who I worked with um, on some other projects, he said, "Hey, you got this going. You might as well push it and see what happens." So, you know, this past fall, I started doing that and hit 1,000 subscribers like October or November, and it's just been kind of growing from there.
That's
So
awesome.
definitely appreciate all that. Getting into the queue and having people be like, "Oh man, I love your videos." It's like really cool.
That's awesome. Um, so I wanted to bring up, but if we're going to talk about YouTube, we'll just lean into it. I've noticed you've been on YouTube for quite a while.
Yeah.
Started with some snowboarding, skating, and guitar videos.
Yeah.
So what made you decide to start doing magic content creation?
Literally people were just like, "Hey, I saw that you won this event, right? Can you
Mm-hmm.
please do a video explaining it or like showing you doing the thing?" And if you look at the first couple of videos that I don't have I didn't monetize them. It was just like me recording with my headset mic with just like 380p and just having no idea what I was doing with OBS. But you know, people wanted to see the complicated lines and stuff, I guess, so it happens. It's
Yeah.
pretty sweet.
So what made you decide to start posting on YouTube in the first place, where you've, posting
I think
stuff
my
about
my
guitar and stuff?
well, we had a couple of my buddy and I wanted to do like let's learn a song a week
Mm-hmm.
and just you know each post it to YouTube so that we have like that as a challenge because we were trying to do guitar stuff or at least learn to play guitar a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
because you know him and I have always been good friends but almost never in the same area, so we were just trying to like do something that keeps us on the same not on the same path but like having fun together even while we're not like in the same spot.
Yeah. So how long you been playing guitar? I started playing when I was 9, so
Well, I'm one of those people that played guitar in college and then quit. Basically, I broke a string on my guitar like
and that
3 or
was
4
it.
years ago, and I'm like, eh. I have the guitar sitting on the over here in the corner. It's got it's got 4 strings on it. The other I have a pack of strings in the but I played guitar because I wanted to do open mic stuff.
Right on.
My buddy in college was really into guitar and I wanted to be like him.
Well, one of my viewers, I can't remember who it said when I was in the chat, and I had mentioned they brought up where I commented on your video asking to do the interview, said that you sound like what's his name, Maynard James Keenan from Tool. When you
Oh,
talk, he
wow.
said they kind of remind them of him. But
That's
yeah,
cool.
I've got my couple of mine over here in the corner. So what? So you broke the
Nice.
string, and that was it,
Yeah, I was one of those A chord, G chord, D chord guys.
right?
Just playing like Breakfast at Tiffany's was my go-to at open mic. I really liked learning random what's his face? Tenacious D songs though. I had a lot of fun
Right.
doing that.
um, so do you still skateboard now?
Yeah, I skateboard now and then. It's not as often because on my days off, it's also family time. So, you don't really get out. And then I had some issues post COVID in 2020 where I had this like big time fatigue issues, which happens to a bunch of people, but that
Mhm.
just kept me from being able to go out as much as I wanted to. So now it's like every 6 to 9 months, I go to the skate park once, do a couple kickflips, and roll around.
Right.
It's always a good time. I do love skateboarding though. And then in the winter, I do ski patrol on my snowboard.
I've never been skiing or snowboarding, but it always seemed fun.
Oh, where are you located?
Ohio, close to West Virginia.
Yeah, that's not the biggest area for skiing.
No,
That's for sure.
no, it's not. Um,
Well, I really enjoy board sports and stuff. It's super fun for me.
right
That's what
on.
I love to do.
So, what about familiars has made you just kind of linger so much onto familiars?
Oh man, it's a deck that has so many decisions. Because if you think about it, like pretty much every card in the deck causes a decision, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I start out, you have to think about what your land drops are going to be, and then like Seagate Oracle here is choosing between two cards. The Vector Glider is also making you choose cards in hand. And then you get this mana advantage. You just get to do a ton of stuff at once, which is just something that really jives for me. So plus, like just doing things for free is too good, way too good. Like I can just get the Arcane for Snap, evoke the Drifter, draw some cards. I just love drawing cards and taking actions. I'd like to say that I'm a combo player, but I've tried other combos where it's just kind of wins, and it's just not for me. I don't really enjoy it whatsoever.
Right. I keep leaning into the like graveyard black strategies pretty hard. Um,
Nice.
but so um, what about Magic has kind of like held you in for so long? What about the game has like kind of kept you here for so long?
Well, I think I've been really addicted to like tweaking and brewing. Not brewing specifically, but like tweaking my deck a ton.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say like it's really hard to brew from zero, but it's a lot easier to just change things. And I like once I made a bunch of cash with all the challenges and the showcase stuff, then I've been infinite on Magic Online. So now I'll like play a few leagues to get my value, and then I'll just go really hard on uh trying to like just what's his face? Just like make something crazy and see if it works. I like you know, I guess I don't know if it's self-expression or just like trying to see make stuff happen.
Mm-hmm. Have you played any other like TCGs or games or something that's kind of like pulled
I
you in
have
like
I
Magic?
haven't.
It's
I
just
haven't played
Magic.
any other TCGs. We had Pokemon cards back in the day, but like I don't have it now. And you got me under pressure here with the Fairy Macabre, so I have to keep drawing cards until I do something.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, but um let me
Yeah, I think just like having the ability to continuously get value, I guess. I'm sort of a value fiend. Just keep getting more tickets on my Magic Online account over and over and just tooling with stuff. And then I've always been trying to like have success in the game. And then now like the community with Discord and everything is just like I'm so entrenched in everything that I'm really into it.
right on.
Let's see.
How so when it comes to like content creation and stuff, like you don't stream very much, do you? You're mainly just
I don't
video content
have
creation?
Yeah, I don't have any time to do like a stream. Most of my time that I have free time is in the early morning or like when my kid's at school.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't seem to me like a time when I would be able to do that. And for a long time, I didn't have a good camera or a mic or anything, so I was just kind of like doing things as they came.
Do you think
And
streaming would
then,
be in the future though for you?
uh, maybe if I would have to figure it out, right? I still
Mm-hmm.
don't have any idea about how to do that yet. I have to
I'll
get my situation all set up.
say I can. I mean,
You
there's
can
not much to it. It's
teach me
pretty
to do
easy, but yeah, I can.
Streamlabs.
Yeah, I can teach you. Um,
That-
so without like that streaming and stuff, when you create your videos and stuff, like how much are you trimming out of your sections? Are you doing your leagues in one setting, or are you breaking them up, or?
Usually, I try to do the league as one run because I really hate having to put my different videos into a another program and then export them because it just takes so much time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll find like a 2 or 3 hour block of time, usually early in the morning, and then play. And with OBS, there's a pause functionality, so I just pause between matches and stuff. I also I've been using a program called Time Bolt, which automatically removes dead air, and you can adjust the settings, and that helps a lot for the magic videos. Because I found like just sitting and watching dead air has been really tough for me to actually consume. So
Mm-hmm.
I was watching a lot of Bryant Cook, and he uh, introduced me to that, which was super nice of him.
Nice.
Oh
Um,
man.
so like outside of making these video stuff, like how much time do you think goes into the content creation and like the YouTube upkeep and stuff? Because you're pretty on top of responding to comments, you're pretty on top of your Discord and everything. So like how much time do you think it goes into that, and like how difficult is it to kind of manage that and everything else you got going on?
Well, I mean, for me, it's like it's not too hard to manage like responding to comments on the video and stuff. I just I was told that you'd get a little bit more traction if you get people to respond. So I just turned on the notifications for the comments specifically on the YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll usually see things pretty quickly. And then I'm always like chilling in the Discord uh, between stuff that I'm doing. And then, it's really easy to check your phone and get on that. So
It
I'm
is.
usually around.
So outside of like YouTube and stuff, are you like working a full-time job, or you don't have to say like what you're doing or anything, but just kind of like
Yeah,
how that content
I work
creation.
remotely, which is nice. It
Oh,
allows for
nice.
flexibility.
No kidding. I wish I could work remotely. Um, so like that kind of helps you then be able to balance that content creation and like home life and stuff a little bit better.
Yeah. And then you won't see me around as much on the weekends when we're doing like more family events and stuff like that. Just keep that going.
Right on.
But
Do
it's fun. I mean, it's hard to put out. I'm working really hard to do 3 videos a week, and get on a consistent schedule, but like, I really don't like doing them ahead of time
mm-hmm.
and picking decks that I don't enjoy. So that's been something that I've been struggling with is like, okay, do I actually just play every deck in the format, or do I continue doing what I want to do? And then just if people want to see it, they can see it. So far, mostly what I've been doing is trying to do stuff that I enjoy or would want to watch, and it's been working out pretty well. Um, I specifically really enjoy watching videos hmm, from like a spike perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a small series, and I would like to do that again, where I worked with another person that was actually good at the other deck, and then they worked with me so that we could like push through and actually take the good lines instead of just having no idea what I was doing.
Right on.
Yeah, I think that's an important part. It was definitely interesting.
Do you like
Yes.
I've seen where you've been playing like some other decks and stuff and tinkering with stuff. How like ventured out, because you know some other people they play different decks like every day and stuff like that. How far do you see yourself like venturing out with like different Pauper decks? Like, are you going to go toward any of the like net decks? Or are you going to go toward any of that stuff? Or are you kind of just wanting to do your own thing with the decks and cards you really like?
So like I said before, I just really enjoy doing a lot of um, taking a lot of actions and seeing what I can do there. So
Hmm.
there haven't been a lot of decks that have really interested me, and I don't particularly like to play tempo. Sometimes I would play like not really an aggro deck, but a deck where you're doing an aggro-y thing.
Hmm.
So I've been trying to figure out if I can make like a not okay, try to make a like burn stormish deck work. So I'm interested in trying to do that. Been talking to other people about that. There's a couple other interactions that are really awesome and silly, like you can do rush of knowledge, storm decks or stuff. That's also really fun. I just want to take actions. That's why I was
Right.
like always pretty disappointed in having getting relay banned, even though it was definitely worth it. I was like, no, I wanted it. I felt oddly pained when they banned relay. I made so many tickets just spamming it. I actually went from like I'd had a decent amount of trophies before that, right?
Hmm.
But all of a sudden I went from I probably had like 20 or 25 trophies in the span of 2 weeks or 3 weeks, just because every league was a 5-0. I was
Hmm.
just dominating. It was crazy. So awesome.
So when you're like kind of brewing and structuring these decks together, are you ever coming into like TPQs, or are you pretty much just like, I want to run this through the leagues and see how it fares? Like, what's your process in that?
A lot of the time, um, if I have any well, so let's say it's a deck that I already know that works, and
Hmm.
I'm just trying to make tweaks to, I'll just go into the leagues right away. If it's a deck that I have no concept of whether or not it's going to work whatsoever, then I will probably go into solitaire and run that in solitaire a lot. Like this other deck that I want to try to show you after this is a deck that I just solitaire over and over and over to try to get the numbers right, like on some sort of stormy deck.
Hmm.
But sometimes you just have to make it happen. And I've been very fortunate for sure that I've been able to actually chain my winnings together into tickets, like I talked about. So that allows me to just spew into the leagues. Sometimes I'll make very large variations to the deck that I've been playing and take it into the league and go 0-2 and drop, or 0-1 and then decide that the deck was terrible and then just get out of there, just completely bail.
So how many like times have you went to like create a video though, and then the deck didn't perform well, or you didn't have a good run, so you're like, I'm out of here on this one? Have you like abandoned very many videos in that process, or like how often
I
are you
do,
showing the working progress?
I mean, I have a I have a video that I recorded that I don't really want to post because I hate the deck and I hated how the video turned out. But maybe I should just do that today since we can get some video out.
Right.
Thank you for reminding me. I don't do that very often, mostly because I like to do a thing that I know is going to work.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, but if it's a thing that I'm just trying, like if I think the concept is super sweet, then I'll just go, and if I O5, it's no big deal, right? Because I want to just do the thing. Like there was a video that I did where we just pulled this crazy cat cow deck, and oh man,
I'm gonna be
so
playing that later today on when I
that
go
deck is
stream.
that deck is really sweet,
Yeah, I was running a
really sweet.
mono black Torex cow cat deck that was kind of janky, but it was fun. But then I watched you play that, and I was like, I've got to get my hands on that. It looks so cool.
Yeah, it's really cool because, but the problem is that it just doesn't have enough card draw really.
Hmm.
Like you run out of stuff to do, which isn't great.
No.
But I also was trying to play like Vine Storm or like Pinger Storm stuff. For a while, I was trying to make this deck work where you. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to flicker the Archaeomancer to mill you,
Hmm.
and then you're going to Fairy Macabre, and then I'm going to Ephemerate, and then you're going to Fairy Macabre, and then I'm going to Ephemerate. Bang, bang, boom. Get back the flicker. So unfortunately, like decks that are trying to fight um, familiars with graveyard hate like this have some issues. Because
Mm-hmm.
there's no way for you to at some point I'll have enough flickers to overvalue it. Just sweet. I really like decks that go so big that the opponent doesn't really have an answer, that there's nothing that they can do to actually get there.
Right.
I don't know why. It's just it's kind of a thing.
Yeah,
I think I learned that from Galvanic Relay.
I definitely like having something like Torex is hard to run. Like pretty much your graveyard hate removal is pretty much just straight up like fairy. So like normally when I played against familiars before, I kind of try to lean into Crypt Rats to like try to clean up the
Right,
field,
yeah.
but I was
Yeah.
not finding any there.
Lately in the format, Initiative and Crypt Rats have been a huge thing with the new Gardens deck, right? So I've moved more into loose focus for the familiars,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been trying to play like ways to deal with Crypt Rats a lot. Just a lot of loose focus, I guess. So I was prepared for the Crypt Rats. I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, I've been trying. That's what I've been trying to do in the past with that
All right, let me
matchup.
change my deck.
I actually found
Oh.
you through Cooper doing playing his leagues. It feels like you guys for a while were kind of in the same time slot where you guys were running into each other a lot.
Yeah. Well,
And
I can sometimes I like take breaks to play as well during the day, but not should really not be doing that. Try to focus on work.
right.
Um,
So then I
really
actually
fun.
found out later that you had a YouTube. I didn't know you had a YouTube until I don't know, it's probably half a year or so ago when I kind of found that you had a YouTube channel. But yeah, I just thought it was funny that it's like the one time I think I found a Magic like player content creator through like a different means than finding the channel. So I just thought that was
Well, I
kind of
mean,
fun.
the channel really just started getting going in like, October, November, so it's pretty reasonable at that point. Right, before that, it was just familiars videos and pedal festival videos, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I should probably play the pedal festival deck, but it's not very exciting for you. You could ask me a lot of questions while I'm doing things.
Yeah. So what's that deck?
So the pedal festival is the original Twiddlestorm. You enchant your land with uh, land enchantments to make a tap for more mana, and then you splice onto the land so that you can tap it for more mana than is necessary to cast a arcane spell like Ideas Unbound or Peer Through Depths, and splice arcane or psychic puppetry, which means that for this is gonna be interesting. For blue, 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 you can tap your land and untap it and draw cards.
Okay. So I don't think I've seen that.
Oh man,
And we'll see how
it's the
this
greatest.
runs because I've never actually like sit down and played this deck. So we'll see how this runs
Well,
for me. But
initiative is good. It works pretty well. All right, we're getting there. I'm just sitting here doing nothing, and then I'm gonna take all the actions. Oh, okay, didn't have it. No turn 5 for initiative. Big deal. That's the turn. Okay. Man, I just nowadays, like, at first playing Pauper was like trying to win.
hmm
I got really lucky that I got some things that I know win. So now trying to play Pauper is trying to do the sweetest thing I can do. That's all I want to do. I just want to do this
you just
craziest,
want to do
sweetest
crazy
thing I could
things.
possibly do.
That's kind of what like I've been kind of focusing on like viewer submitted decks and then like kind of like working through the decks with them. And it's been
Hmm.
like so much fun to like just play like some really wacky stuff. Like I played this like
No,
fun hijack deck the other day. It was just so sweet.
man, that sucks. Hmm. Disputes. I'll take the cards. Duress. Singleton main deck Duress. Gets me every time. Okay.
Okay. What am I taking here?
I'm not going to give you any hints.
No, yeah. Discard all cards in your hand, then draw that many cards. I feel like that's probably the one. Deliver for basic land, reveal your card, put it in your hand, then shuffle, then storm.
Trying to break every storm card.
I don't know. I guess this card says storm on it, so that's the one to probably take. I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, well, I got you 1 damage, so that's all I really needed, right? Getting in. Kind of expected that. That's okay.
Yeah, I definitely feel like for me, I always have a hard time when I'm playing against a deck that I don't really know. I feel like I always have a really rough time with it. I don't know how you feel about that. Like,
well, that's the thing. I also have a lot of equity from just being the guy that's playing the crazy thing that you don't know what's going on.
true. That's very
So game
true.
1, my game 1 equity is high. Also, a lot of people, barely anyone played familiars for the longest time. So I was also just the only one in the queues playing familiars, and everyone's just like, what do I do here? Yep, that Duress is going to kill me, I think.
So did I take the right thing then with that duress?
Well, I think so. I mean, I could do something else.
Yeah, do something wacky. Let's see it happen. Let's see the master work. Rite of Flame.
Playing spells, playing spells. The problem is just not having, like, I didn't green, blue. All right, draw some cards.
So do they just add the temporary zone when you discard multiple things to graveyard? Because I just noticed that yesterday.
That only happens if you're playing a deck where graveyard order matters.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm dead. You didn't let me do the thing.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's okay. Duress is a good card. Let's see. Do I want to change anything? Maybe. I won't tell you. I want to always, like, as far as the content creation goes, I think it's like it's hard to manage doing what you want to do and also like doing something sweet, obviously. But the other thing is that it's hard to just constantly like just do things at all because there's just it feels like there's a limited amount of stuff in the format now. I don't know. That's kind of the way it is.
Do you feel like the format is like having problems like with its health with I know a lot of people's express problems with burn and stuff. Do you feel like there are certain cards that are like have been pretty unhealthy to the format?
I mean, I personally don't like the way that burn exists in the format, but the thing is, like, when you look at the way that the format panel has been managing it, they're specifically trying to stop the most broken thing that could possibly exist versus trying to like manage it. And there's a lot of people that are and they are managing the format, right? That makes them kind of mad if you say they're not managing the format. But you know, they're not taking minor tweaks every 3 months. They're just letting it play out and then saving us from a Chatterstorm situation. Like I personally would have probably, you know, going way back, I would have the first band that I was in was the Blue Monday, right? I expected like Days to be banned, but I didn't expect some of the other stuff. I didn't expect Gush to be banned and Pro to be banned, but they did do that. Oh man, that's a bummer for me. So I think like foil was the main thing, but you know, they're taking powerful cards out. And then for a long time we were complaining about Tron. Tron never got banned. It's
Yeah.
still around, obviously. I'm playing that. Oh, look at this. Discard bug. Nice. That worked out. Pass. Um so like I think there's gotta be it's got to be really difficult to actually like manage the format. I think burn right now makes it so a lot of things are unplayable and you can't
Hmm.
play like tier 2 stuff. A lot of my brews just die so fast to burn because you could just die really fast to burn. I would have banned the bridges originally from Affinity, but I just don't like that's the thing. I don't really understand the way that they're taking small tweaks to stuff. I was always like a proponent of taking larger bans,
Yeah.
and they they actually when we were talking about whether or not relay should be banned, I was like, yes, relay should be banned. It's broken. It's a broken card. They should ban it. And then I'm like, they ban all kinds of stuff. They should ban relay. And then they're like, oh, actually, we're not going to ban the broken things. We're just going to ban. Where am I? Is this until next turn? This turn. Darn. Well, let's do this. Draw. Okay. Dark Ritual. I would have probably banned some more things, but they're leaving it around. Like, if they're going to leave Affinity around, why is. Darn, I didn't get there. Why is Galvanic Relay banned? Like, they could have just banned Lotus Petal, Dark Ritual, Rite of Flame, and the same thing would have happened. And
Hmm.
then at the same time, why is something like Initiative legal? Those are the questions that I have. I don't understand. The answer is because, but I just don't. I feel like those kinds of things are too much. But then you talk about, well, is it really too much? See, Tolarian Winds here, if I'd been able to cast it, would draw me 9 cards.
Yeah. You would have got quite a few. Do you
I
think
missed.
like Magic and the higher ups, the lords of Magic, if you will, do you think they pay attention like very much to Pauper? Do you think they're more focused on like more popular formats, or what do you think like
I don't think
their
they pay
devotion to
attention to
Pauper
any
is?
format,
You
really.
don't think so?
I don't think they care. They just care that, like, the higher ups at WotC or Hasbro are just wanting to sell stuff, right? So they don't care
Yeah.
that much about Pauper. I think Pauper would be a really sick format if they would actually make it a PT format, because I think people would come in and really push it. I think that there's probably stuff that's not been done yet, but we'll see.
Do you think their move away from do you think their move away from what is this thing? Do you think their move away from more spotlighting competitive Magic has kind of hurt some of the legacy formats, the eternal formats a little bit, or kind of hurt a little bit of the buzz around the game?
I honestly, like, I was just so siloed in Pauper that I don't even notice or care that much about other things. But it's been with with all the arena stuff, I just completely tuned out. With Magic, what was it? Like the Magic Pro League, the MPL,
Hmm.
that kind of stuff. I was like, I don't have any need to pay attention to this whatsoever. But now that they're doing the paper play and the Pro Tour, it feels like more real. Like you want to actually go to it and succeed. So that
Yeah,
I'm kind of interested in now.
that's cool. Do you think you'd
That
ever try for it?
well, I'm trying to like make it to the trying to make it to the mocks, right? I want to try to win get into the showcase things, but I couldn't go to the first one, which was a big bummer for me. Let's see. Couldn't even go. 9 cards in hand. Oh, my Throttling Vines. Let's just play a land and pass.
um, do you do you think there'll ever be like big time Pauper tournaments? Would you like to see big time Pauper tournaments like in paper?
Yeah, that'd be sweet. And we're talking about so for the there's Paupergeddon, right? That's like a 500-person tournament. Now there's gonna be 600 people in 2 days or something. That's so huge. In Italy, they have Pauper leagues at all their locals, and they are feeding those Pauper leagues into a buy for Paupergeddon, and then that makes Paupergeddon more huge. And also Paupergeddon is like a quarterly thing. So, you know, it builds people's excitement about it. And I think that, let's see, I think now is the time actually. Dun, 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 dun. We're going in. So I'm really interested in seeing if we can make that happen for the Northeast area. So we started a Discord locally in New York State. No, Deadzo. That's okay. I dealt you 5 damage there.
Yeah,
You didn't notice. All right, let's Morphos.
Nope.
So I'm really interested in trying to make that happen. I'm going to a Pauper 1K this weekend locally.
Well, good luck.
This.
Good luck with that. I hope you take it home. What are you running? Which I'm planning on probably uploading this Saturday.
So I'm likely to run probably Dark Ritual. Probably do something like Altertron, just because the deck has just a lot of free wins. Just completely smoke people. Man,
You know, you could run Hamburgertron.
you could do that. I don't have 2 mountains in the graveyard, so I'm gonna crack this. The Hamburgertron's funny, definitely funny.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Well, this
excited
is not
about
going
that
very well for me. I need a very specific card. See if I can get it. Crack this. Nope. So what I can do now is play the Flame Breather, and then I can rack my Feldon's Cane to put everything back in my deck. And then I can play my Sprouting Vines here, and now I have 100% action. Although hopefully some of those draw cards. So the idea with this deck is to go Sprouting Vines or Tolarian Winds, and then Sprouting Vines on the stack. You just get all the lands out of your deck, and then you
and
wheel.
draw all the action. Yeah,
But it's not working out. I would love to do like Northeast Pauper Championships or whatever, and get people from the US to travel, because getting over to Italy is so expensive.
oh, I'd imagine
It's not really viable for us. And if we can make it happen locally, that'd be great.
What way am I going here with this?
I don't know. I think it would be. It's really fun to play in paper, so that'd be cool. I really want. I wish that Magic Online would stop doing like rotating the formats they do for the showcase formats.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they should just let every constructed format be a thing. And I wish there was just like there are PT series for Pauper as well, so we'll do that. Upcoming Lord of the Rings set, so maybe something is crazy broken in there. We can pull that. Who knows?
How do you feel about like the tie? Because it seems like some people really hate the crossovers. What are your
I
thoughts
don't
on
really.
the crossovers?
I mean, it doesn't bother me that there's a crossover. Okay, I will wrench my mind. You got it. Any order.
Yeah, I didn't figure
No
it would get
problem.
much, but why not? Why not cast it?
So the crossovers are fine. It's just the thing is, it's really confusing, and there's just a lot of things that are happening all the time, and it's hard to keep track of, I find. So I'm ignoring most of it, honestly. Just continuing to ignore whatever happens, because it doesn't matter to me that much. Ooh,
But are you
hello.
a fan of Lord of the Rings though?
Yeah, I like the movies and stuff. I actually read Lord of the Rings, a ton as a kid, but I don't
I
know the
tried
last
the
time I read the
books. I
books.
tried the books and got to Tom Bombadil, and I was just like, man, I can't. I'm having a hard time with this.
I think I die here, right? 7, it's 12. I'm not dead. Maybe dead. I'm gonna not attack. I'm very close to being dead here. Yeah, Tom Bombadil is still a fuzzy memory in my mind. I know that it was a very important part, but I don't remember exactly what happened. And I remember there was the whole thing about trees, but I don't think he was involved with that. So who knows? I think that it's cool that they can bring in the story and then get people involved. I hope that there's something that can be another broken deck that I can make in Pauper. That's what I'm looking for specifically.
You want to break the format again?
I mean, I went from having just familiars as my deck, and then we had MH2. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm playing a ton of okay, I think I can that guy dies. Then I was playing Chatterstorm. Then they did not ban Relay, but they banned out Chatterstorm. So I started playing familiars again, and we were just decent against Affinity, where you were just like running things.
Mm-hmm.
You're running a bunch of Dust to Dusts to try to get there, but it wasn't great. And then we worked on Galvanic Relay for a while. Then once Galvanic Relay was a deck, that was my deck for sure. It's all about it. Just crushing. I had one opportunity in a large scale tournament to do well, but I registered a very poor version of Relay, honestly, and I just did terribly. And then I remember there was a person in the tournament that was like, "Hey, this deck seems broken. Why are you not doing well?" I was like, "Thanks, appreciate that." So
Vote of
that was
confidence.
unfortunate. Yeah,
Um,
but after Galvanic Relay, I worked on Familiars for a while more, and then just then I started working on Eggstron and Ultratron. So playing Ultratron a lot since then, because Familiars has kind of a poor matchup against Affinity, even though you can win if you over sideboard.
mm-hmm.
And then over the summer we had Swift Spear release and Blue Black Terror became a thing. So then from there I kind of stopped playing Familiars and went really hard on the Ultratron side because I was doing pretty well. And Ultratron is really, really, really good against Blue Black Terror and against Affinity. They just can't interact. So if you have a serious sideboard versus red, you're in a good position. And then so Familiars is kind of like my backup deck now, which is weird. And
Yeah.
then we had the poison stuff release. So I spent like a good 6 to 8 weeks just kind of tooling with that, trying to get that to work. And then
How
I have a
like
couple.
competitive do
Yeah.
you think that poison counter deck is currently? Like, what do you
If
think
you
it's sitting
face
at?
only mid range, you will go 100% wins. You will
Really?
win out. You will never lose because as long as you just get your stuff on the table, you win. The way that the deck works with the depletion lands and the proliferates, basically you're looking for the opening hand of like a depletion land and an off-color basic. So
Mm-hmm.
you're going to go turn 1 depletion land, turn 2 off-color basic, play an artifact, and then proliferate. So then on turn 3 you untap with 5 mana, which is already busted. Mulligan. Mulligan again. This is where I die. Keep this one. Yeah, I mean, like you're also really so the good matchups are bummer. You're really good against
Well, what do I
traditional
take
mid
though?
range. You're really 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 good against traditional aggro because we have the four moments piece in the sideboard. But you're poor against red, depending on the specific red deck. And then you're that was maybe a mistake. Into Wrench Mind. Go ahead and play the initiative and end it. End it. Make it end.
You called that wrench mine.
I really should have left the Lotus Petal in my hand, but then I couldn't do anything anyway. I'm going to go to the next match. Reveal hand. Oh, I had a Deadly Dispute. That wouldn't matter.
Oh, my bad. I had just removal and Thorn of the Black Rose in hand. That was my hand.
So that's my fun deck. As you can tell, it's not super super competitive.
It's pretty cool though.
All right, I have one more. Should I play a silly deck or a good deck?
Whatever you want. I'm gonna play. I don't know if it's silly or not, but I'm gonna play a deck I played yesterday that I really really enjoyed.
All right, I'm gonna do something crazy. Let's go here. Go to.
Where's it at?
I have to find the right one. I think it's this one. Everything is like 50 copies of it. Like, okay, it's really hard to find everything. Reanimator.
Right? Do you have like a crazy queue of decks over in your Magic sideboard there under Pauper?
Oh, I have it's like deck 2, deck 3, deck 2, 2, 2, 2, and then it's like deck 2A.
um So I wanted to. So you're big into Pauper and stuff, and we obviously know. What's
Oh
up?
no, I joined with the wrong deck. Okay, concede.
Okay. Yeah, I'll concede
Going
to
back
you.
out. I have to. Okay, what was the question? I'm coming back.
Um, we kind of know what your favorite decks and stuff are, but like, what would be kind of your favorite card or like artwork of the game?
I don't know about artwork. I like some of the. There's some basics that I really like. Oh, I guess the artwork that I like the best is the pixel lands,
Oh, yeah,
the pixel
they're pretty
snow
cool.
lands.
Yeah, they're
I
pretty
guess I'm
cool.
sort of known for that now. I spent a lot of money on those, and then I also really like. My favorite card that's ever been printed is Galvanic Relay. It's just so OP.
And you can't even play it anymore. So we talked a little
All
bit
right.
about like a little bit about some of your interests outside of Magic and stuff. What are like some of your other like hobbies or interests outside of like skateboard and guitar and Magic?
I really like things that I like to do. I like cliff jumping a lot, like
What
diving. I was
is
super into diving as a kid.
say what is cliff jumping? Is that like man?
Just
Is
so like I have a video on my YouTube where we went to Ithaca and we were jumping off the cliffs there. So fun.
I have to look
I'll do
that up.
like flips and stuff off like big big jumps. Discard this one. Okay.
It's like a
I
reanimator
was super into diving when I was a kid.
into diving.
Yeah. In college we would go over to the place next to us, the college that was in the same town, and I would just make my friends go with me and we'd dive there for a long time. We would stay there for like 90 minutes while they're like, hey, you don't even go to school. Don't worry about it. Hmm.
Say, I'm curious. I'm assuming you're some kind of reanimation. I would assume. So I'm a little terrified here because.
There's an initiative creature in the graveyard
Yep.
that does cause problems. The other thing that's going to cause problems is if you can do anything about it.
I don't know. I would like
Maybe
to,
it gets
but so like you talk about like music and guitar and stuff. What is some of the music you're into? Like, what are some of your like your favorite bands or artists?
I really like listening to stuff with a that's like has an upbeat tempo, and so like uh just trying to chit my mana. Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hmm. Let's do this. I have to click the clicks first. I was like really into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just play this.
That's a dude. That's a thing.
Take this one. Play that. Pass the turn. Um, yeah, I like upbeat tempo. I like weird sounds, I guess. I like to play uh I like we were really in my buddy and I were really into what blue.
Yeah,
My
I
buddy
don't.
and I were really into doing like it would be called EDM now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um or like what's it called? It's like techno music when I
Yeah,
was a
like
kid.
house
That's what you
music and
called it.
stuff.
Yeah, that was fun. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. This one. This one.
Yeah, I'm in danger.
Coming in hot. Trap you. And then we're going to attack. No. Oh well. Messed up there. I was supposed to bid a reunion.
What's the reunion do again? Oh
Makes
yeah.
everything on paste. Bummer. All right. Whatever. You would have been at 6, which is not lethal. It's gonna happen. Oblivion Ring. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm too
Take my
far
big guy.
behind. Planning to, but
That's the classic initiative stuff.
yeah.
I like so we listen to some random kids music. I like Cuckoo Kangaroo. I like I like Owl City. I like what's its face? I like the people that do the song Raining Tacos. Like silly upbeat music.
Gotcha. I was
I don't
gonna say,
usually even listen to music when I'm playing Magic. I just do stuff. Keep it
you
silent.
said Tenacious D earlier, so I'm a huge fan of
Yeah,
them too. So
definitely love the Tenacious D. Let's do this. Zoom.
yep.
I'm gonna get my Goliath Paladin, and then I'm gonna hopefully hit a creature. Avenging Hunter. Okay, it's happening. So this is the deal with me. I just like playing decks that make me laugh. Okay, get a reunion.
Yeah, who doesn't like
Here it
that though?
comes. Like just tackle
So I
these
like this
people.
deck. This deck's cool.
Yeah. So
I'm
the
pretty
idea of
dead.
this deck is that you're trying to play Turbo Initiative, right? You're
Yeah.
gonna slam turn one initiative. The side plan is that you're going to now have Reanimator.
Do not have good
This
side word for this for sure. Um,
I don't know what that blue is doing there.
well, hopefully I could do something with it this game. This game is what my
Maybe a
plan
dispel.
is. Maybe.
Yeah, I was super into ska music as a kid, and punk rock because my that's the skateboarder thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
What actually a lot of the music that I found that I really enjoyed, I just saw from watching like snowboarding videos. So one of the songs that really stands out from that is like Kids by MGMT. I really like that song. I like I really like the Talking Heads because I think Take Me to a River or one of the other Talking Head songs that's just really out there. That song I like that stuff.
I think it's Talking Heads. I think has a documentary on them that a lot of people have recommended. I think it's Talking Heads. It's one of
Nice.
those bands that's had a good amount of like. Yeah, I think it is Talking Heads that has documentary because that Talking Heads is the one that has like they had the famous video where he's like I got the giant suit, right? The Talking Heads.
You know, I don't know. I just listen to the music.
Oh,
Maybe. It certainly seems possible. Oh man.
you got the nuts. You got the crazy hand.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're gonna Simian Spirit Guide. Doesn't work out. Oh well. Bitter Reunion. Crusher. Basilica, I see, I see. Can you deal? Oh man. Land. That's the turn. I'm gonna have to make sure I don't get edicted. Could have a cast down though. No.
I'm gonna steal that before it hurts me in the face really badly. So with uploading magic and stuff, and all that, how much like have you been able to like interact or communicate with other content creators in the space?
Well, I mean, we have the familiars Discord where I mostly hang out, and basically what happened was with that, I was trying to just accumulate all of the best players that I knew, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of them make Magic too, so they come up into that spot. I talked to Brian Cook a lot. 'Cause he does. Oh, you should pick up the Oblivion Ring.
No.
Oh man. Okay, we have a second chance here. Discard this. Okay. Rite of Flame. Morphos. Rite of Flame.
Just gonna
Well,
yield. That's why I'm like holding my breath, waiting to see what happens here.
we're doing
Another
things.
hunter.
That's not that fast, though. I get to get a land and then attack. Yeah.
Pretty good.
It's not fast enough, though, you know? Like, this deck, turn 4? Although I had the turn 2 Crusher. I should have waited a little bit. I could have gone Crusher with... Come on. It's got me. This is the problem. Now I'm dead. Scoop. You want me to not scoop? I'm definitely dead here, though.
Oh, if you think you're dead, then
I
you
consider
scoop
myself...
whenever you want.
This game has been lost. We were close. So now I have to change my strategy, huh? Put these ones out, put these ones back in. Okay, I'm ready.
I think I am too. We'll see what happens here.
Yeah, I talked to Raptor 56 and GN42 have been making familiars videos. I don't know anybody really that's been doing specifically like Pauper format stuff. I talked to Propaganda a little bit. We did like a content creation tournament, but I mostly just do my own thing and then I'm definitely open to talking to other people and seeing what they're up to.
Yeah, so I was pretty excited when you seemed interested in doing the interview, because like I talked a little bit when I think I need to get this down. I talked a little bit when I was talking to Cooper about like the idea like I wanted to do with this was like kind of give, I don't know if spotlight's the right word, but like I wanted to like I always like profiles and stuff on like players and stuff. Like they would kind of do that in the competitive scene and stuff, and just kind of like kind of do like a loose I don't know if like Rogan-esque podcast idea, but you know, kind of that idea of like looking at like, you know, hanging out with creators, talking about like their content creation, their, you know, how they got into the game and stuff, because it's really interesting to me overall.
Yeah, I really like when I was looking at I used to listen to the Pauper Players podcast by Freestyle, and he did like spotlight on the players themselves and all the stuff that they did in the tournament and how they came up with their deck. Just really intricate stuff like that I really like. Learning about what other people are up to and then getting some tips and tricks from them. This is some sort of ephemerate deck. I would like that back. All right, your turn. 7 cards in hand. Not really going anywhere with this.
Yeah, it's kind of how I feel. Not really going anywhere with this.
Oh man.
I think I'll take this back again. Yeah, as like you know, as a content creator in this space and stuff, what would be some piece of advice, or I guess yeah, just piece of advice or some kind of source code you've unlocked of like creating and stuff in the space that you would give to somebody wanting to start?
You know, I think just the same thing I said before is just do what you want to see, right? And then hopefully that work is something that other people are interested in as well. Because what I learned with recently was there's a lot of niches that exist. And it used to be that if you were in a niche, you were the weird guy at school. But now everyone in the world has a niche that they belong to, and there's a bunch of other people in the world that are interested in that. Like I watched a video of a guy digging up potatoes. I was like, this is really interesting. There's just something that everyone's going to want to see. So if you're like really if you're really passionate about it, then definitely go for it. Never another enchantment.
Yeah, this is kind of a weird deck, a little bit.
Gonna take the initiative to F6 here. I mean, I think the thing is, you don't have to just like say, I'm going to be a content creator, I'm going to be able to do the thing, because I think that's unreasonable. Your just expectation is you should just do things and see if people are interested,
Mm-hmm.
I think. And if they are, then great, bully for you, right? Boom. Hmm. I wonder. 3. Hmm. It's an interesting position. I cast this guy.
Hard casting it. That's
I'm going to
interesting.
attack. Coming in. So now what do I want to do? I'll swell, I think. So I hard cast that there so that I could try to get in.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom. All right. Now I'm setting up blockers, hopefully, right? Some things. You're gonna flash in something? What's gonna happen?
Yeah. I
Oh.
thought you could transmute an instant speed, but apparently not.
Oh, at instant speed.
Yeah.
Is this a reality acid deck?
I don't think so.
Oh. Yeah, I just want to do stuff that I find interesting, and then if other people find it interesting, it works great for me. That's just what it comes down to.
Try to Mesmeric Fiend again here. I'll say, yeah, you've typically played some pretty interesting stuff. I want to try that poison counter deck out really bad at some point.
I think I'm once again dead. See, this is the problem with playing silly things that are high risk, high reward.
Nah, there's there's nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
So it's fun. Um,
The one deck that I was interested in seeing if we could make work was potentially. See, I didn't know you're gonna have all these black creatures. That's really big deal for me, given the snuff out that's in my hand.
oh yeah.
And now you can make your Mesmeric Fiend bigger, so I can't even attack. So I think I'm gonna scoop again. I always like
All
to
right.
scoop early. Just let it be.
Just let it go.
In,
Do you
in
do
paper, I
any
win, I guess.
early scoops in the leagues, or are you like wanting to stick it out through the leagues?
No, I don't care.
You don't care.
I just pieced out. No reason to suffer. Sometimes if someone goes land arbor elf, I just quit the whole match.
Get out of the Ponzo. Get out of
I
Ponzo's way.
cannot play against this.
Um. So yeah, because you kind of play a lot of decks that's kind of vulnerable to Ponzo, don't you?
Yeah, basically all of them. It's just like when you want to be doing big end game stuff, you're going to be weak to Ponza. The only deck that I played that wasn't weak to Ponza was the here. I'll just was the come on was like the storm deck.
Gotcha. That deck I played is actually a like nightmare combo deck. So
Oh,
it uses Wormfang Drake and Faceless Butcher to go infinite.
that's cool.
Um, but it also has like a lot of like nice built-in mid-range kind of like pieces.
Nice.
So it's really fun. What's next here? You want to get in one more?
Sure, we can do one more.
Uh,
So how long have you been playing Pauper?
Pauper, you can actually kind of find. So like when I had my MacBook, I wanted to try Magic Online through. I had to use a virtual machine.
I use Boot Camp on my MacBook.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I had to use that, and then I went a while without doing it because I played in store when I first got into Magic.
Oh, nice.
And then everything with COVID happened and everything. My local LGS kind of dried up for Magic, and like my friend group just we're all living different lives, so it's really hard to like get together and want to play and stuff. So I was like, well, I'll check out Magic Online again. And then it was, well, I don't want to spend a ton of money, and Pauper always seemed cool because of the whole common thing. So I
Yeah, it's
tried out Pauper, and I've been in love with it because it's like right at the power level that I really enjoy, and there's just a lot of really cool cards, and like I feel like it's a format. It's kind of brutal right now, but I also feel like it's a format that also welcomes uh brewing pretty well. I'm not much of a brewer, but I like playing brews and like seeing what
right.
people come up with.
I think what you got to do is just like if you can define a concept, you just make the deck and then play it and see what happens, and then do it again
Hmm.
over and over and over again, and then that will get you into the spot where then your so-called your brew is successful.
Hmm. I've had
You
this
just keep doing things.
Yeah, I've kind of had this deck that I've been obsessed with. A viewer submitted it to me. It was it was Rakdos Hijack. So the whole idea is you
Mhm.
play creatures or cards to sacrifice what you steal from your opponent after you attack with them. And I just like I haven't found like a sweet spot for it, but I really really like it. And I've been trying to like put it together and kind of brew it together a little bit.
Cool. It's definitely hard to play multicolored decks in Pauper, especially with poison stuff
Hmm.
happening. Not poison, but land destruction stuff.
Yeah, the land destruction's been crazy. Um I kind of want to try out
Double toxic.
Ponza at some point.
No, don't do it.
No.
I'm gonna attack you because I'm gonna be the beatdown. We'll see what happens. Yeah, the Ponza deck is I'll get on my soapbox. The deck is bad. It's never been good. It's a bad deck. It has high variance and it doesn't work very well. The thing is, oh no, lifelink in the main deck? Killing me, Smalls.
It's my one of unexpected fangs.
Okay. Flame breather,
Another one?
synthesizer.
I just killed the one.
What's what we're doing here. We're playing flame breathers. The whole point of this deck. Play another. Okay, now it's happening. Yeah. I mean, I could die. You can see that there's a specific style of deck that I'm playing. This is burn, but it's
Right.
also storm.
Uh,
I don't even know what we were talking about before. I got so confused.
right.
Just getting in.
All
Oh
right.
yeah, you just like to make a brew work. You simply want to just keep trying, and I think that's a really good part about Magic Online is you can get so many games in
Hmm.
that if you have enough funds, you're basically going to be able to tweak it to the point where you can know if it's viable or not.
That's the thing too with Pauper is where it's so
Damn.
cheap that you can just, you know, run it, keep running it back kind of thing.
Yeah, I like to say upstairs.
So yeah, am I dead here?
No, 0 cards in hand. Not the greatest spot for me,
Um
and I'm not going to
so
attack.
as someone who does like a lot of brewing and tweaking stuff, what's like some piece of advice you would give to a brewer, someone who's wanting to brew?
Well, I think coming from zero is really hard. So if you can take whatever the thing is that you want to do and put it into a shell that already exists, then it'll be a lot easier for you.
Hmm.
If you also like, you just want to keep Googling cards, I guess. Try it, see what the problem is. I think the problem and the issue in Pauper right now is that you also have to have so much life gain in the main deck. It can be somewhat difficult.
Yeah, do you think there's something in Burn that needs to be taken
Am
away
I
to like kind
okay?
of stop that shaping of the format a little bit? To like open it back up a little bit so there's not so much like I got to play life gain main deck in order to survive this matchup?
I don't think there's going to be anything that we can do. Like because what would you take out? You'd have to take out multiple cards, and then at that
Hmm.
point, I don't think that they're going to be able. They're going to make that play. They've already said that they pretty much. They haven't said, but they've they've showed us that they just want to temper things,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not really going to be doable. Okay, we got there. Yeah. Counting
Alright.
is hard. I don't usually count combat math.
Oh.
You gotta be open to new ideas too with brewing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just make sure that you know, like, look around, always be ready to change cards, just constantly changing things. Even when I play the same deck in a league, I'm coming in with different cards almost every time. I can never settle on a list, so people are always like, "Well, what should I play?" And I'm like, I don't know. We'll find out.
Play something, I guess you know, right?
Hmm.
That's what I
If you
don't
want,
want to trim.
so like for familiars, the main issue right now is okay. We got the Modern Age, which is really good. It's a flyer. It's a 2/3 body. It pitches cards. It also blocks really well. It's really good versus mono blue. It's somewhat not good versus red because the body doesn't come onto the table very fast, but it also is good versus red because it affects your hand really quickly. So
Mm-hmm.
you're pitching things quickly. It's really high synergy with Deep Analysis. But there's a new card now with Meeting of Minds that is much better sometimes than Deep Analysis. But if you're going to play Meeting of Minds, you also have to. Okay, we're just going to get rid of that. If you're going to play Meeting of Minds, you have to have a lot of creatures on the table, or
Having a
Meeting
little
of
bit of
Minds is
deja vu
bad.
here.
This is exact same. It turns out that I have lots of those cards in this deck. Carrying, yeah, it's a good thing. Oh no, man, I was counting my chickens here. Let's do this. This is a risky play.
Synthesizer.
Right, flame, Ratu. We're spinning. We're spinning those wheels. And then, so I'm really interested in trying to find what deck is good, but it also isn't always good, right? Sometimes things are better in context. So, like the deck where you're playing Seagate Oracle and Meeting of Minds is probably good against ground-based like aggro decks, but then you lose really hard to fairies, and then you have to choose whether or not you want to lose to fairies, and then you lose to Ponza and you tilt off and just quit. Man,
So
I'm dead.
is Ponza like your top like tilt deck? Like what are some things that kind of tilt you in Magic a little bit? And how do you
Well,
recover from the tilt?
yeah, that would be a good something to know, right? How do you recover? I don't know. I mean, I think you have to accept the situation. Like you went in, you took the risk, you loaded the deck, so you knew what you're getting yourself into.
Mm-hmm.
But now, like if you feel like you didn't have a chance, that's the things that I don't like very much. Like when your opponent goes land, Swift Spear, you're dead.
Right.
I mean, my Swift Spear Boner, not very good. Gets in. 9. Don't know if there's a way for me to survive even. This. I don't like losing to walls very much. As you can see, a lot of times I have very specific sideboard strategies for walls. I'm like, get out of here, walls.
I don't see that being ran very much anymore. It
I
doesn't
can see
seem
it.
like
It just
the
has to
walls
do with the
combo.
time. A lot of times, the time of day.
Really?
Like I always face the same players on Magic Online, or tend to face a lot of the same players. Let's get this.
So do you think like there's like different meta changes depending on what time you're playing?
It can definitely happen. Like a lot of people from Italy are affinity pilots or mid-range pilots. A lot of people from the US seem to be, or Brazil, or more on the aggro. But I just do the same thing over and over and hope that it works, which is the definition of insanity.
Yeah. Feel that.
This and this. Okay, here I go.
Pretty good.
A lot of times, like, oh man, it keeps happening to me. The reses. The decks that I the decks that I like to play get dumpstered by the same kind of stuff. It's just it is what it is. So I went, you discard the Reckless Impulse. I played a Reckless Impulse. I hit a Reckless Impulse. What's happening?
Yeah, the reckless impulses are crazy.
It's weird to have card draw in red. That was really strange. Okay, that's the 4th Reckless Impulse.
Reckless
Do I
impulse.
hit a land? No.
Damn.
Yeah. Where's the 5th? Send. So we're losing now and in the festivities.
Good. That's what I was kind of hoping for.
Tough. Oh no, counters until end of turn though. Okay, that's good. Synthesizer. I'm gonna turn off my prowess here. Okay, Rite of Flame. Synthesizer. Looking for land now. I get used to like talking through my stuff. Sometimes I just
Yeah.
talk through it even when I'm not doing anything.
Let's say, because you're very, like, in your videos, you're very much you very much go through your, like, step by step. So where, like, you're kind of one of those players where you don't have to actually, like, watch the video. You can just listen to it, and everything
That's
is
funny.
pretty clear what's going on, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, because I use the time bolt too, you have to like do that. And I also just that what happens is just because of it's cutting the dead audio, the dead air. So anytime you're talking, it's keeping that video, and anytime you're not talking, it's not keeping it. Okay.
So that's pretty
I'm
cool.
out
It's
of
kind of like
action.
a it's kind of like
It's
a
an auto
nice
editor.
little auto edit.
Oh,
Yeah,
look
it's
at
like a AI editor in a way. No.
that was quite the rip. Quite the rip for sure. Although you have ways out of it as well. It's gonna make your thing bigger. Darn. Well, at least you get a 5. Okay. Giant Gixian Infiltrator. I think the thing it's interesting about Pauper is that, some of these cards are so overpowered. Oh, I'm just gonna do this. Wait, see what happens. He's gonna block. Wait for it. He saw the line. Some of the cards are like so overpowered when they first enter, and then just terrible later on. That's a good one. Look at that synergy.
Trying to.
So like when the Moon Circuit Hacker first was put out, I was like, this card is just absurd. I can't handle it. It's too good. But now it's kind of just commonplace. Mono blue is going to be mono blue. What are you going to do? You have to adapt.
Right.
So I don't know how to like approach it, because I feel like the format is not balanced, and that the fact that there's 20% red just says that you should change something, and that deck format could get better. But at the same time, you're like, well, I don't know if the format is going to get better if I change anything.
Because
So,
it may
and
just
what am I really
unbalance
hoping
something
for?
else. Yeah.
I just want to play something that's, I
Wacky.
guess, like optimal for
Fun.
me is like a wacky deck that smashes everybody, and they have no chance of winning. But then if that's the case, then it's going to get banned anyway.
Like your Chitterstorm.
Yeah.
Relay.
So I would have had to hit Bolt into Crack Bolt off Synthesizer, and I hit land in hand and whiffed. So that is the game. Concede. I think you can deal. Yeah. Because of the Gixian.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Okay, let's draw a card. It's just hard to. That's like a deck that I'm interested in making work, but I just don't think it's there really.
Your Flame Breather deck.
The ping deck, oh man, there's another version of it where you put like a curiosity type thing on the pinger. There's there's a couple effects that do that, and then you just like cast Dark Ritual, ping your opponent, draw a card. Yeah, it's
Gotcha.
super fun. Hard
Um,
to keep those creatures alive though.
so is there anything that you would want to say about Pauper or to your community or the Magic community as a whole? Like, is there anything you'd want to say, or do you have any good stories to share?
Anything I want to say? I just appreciate all the support. That's been really awesome, and I am looking forward to people pushing the limits as well. It's been really nice to play in paper. I know that anybody that is missing being able to play in paper, there's a couple of webcam servers, so you can join that. One of them is the, let me just pull it up, Paper Pauper Magic, and I can give you the Discord invite for that later, so
Okay.
you can have that for the people. Stories wise, I don't know. There's definitely been a couple of good rips, but I don't really know exactly. I remember when the finals of the showcase, trying to go to the mocks, I was up against CC Jire, and I had him ult to I think 4 in game 3. I was just like, not like this, not like this.
Yeah, it's
It
never a good
happens.
way to go out, is it? Or you got a
Yeah,
mulligan to oblivion to even
yeah.
try to play.
The other thing that happens to me a lot is because of my click heavy decks. People go for the timeout win condition, which is one of those things that you're like, please don't, please don't.
Yeah.
In leagues, I would just recommend like if you're gonna do, there's, I mean, at least versus me, if you know that I'm not gonna time out anyway, like don't waste our time. But
Hmm.
I understand why people are doing it in challenges and stuff, and like trying to get edges. One of the things that I've always liked about Magic Online is there's a very minimal amount of angle shooting. Whereas in paper, I definitely had some experience where it's like, oh, I missed this trigger, and it's casual, and you're like, no, you can't take that back. Can't take it back. Nope, I win the game. I get the prize. Like, oh my god.
Right. It's
And
kind
and
of
then
nicer to have Magic Online kind of like dictate everything, you know?
yeah, but then you're like, oh man, there's a lot of differences. Like when I was playing Sanctuary Familiars, the way that it works is you ghostly flicker your Mold Drifter and Mystic Sanctuary. You stack the triggers so that you draw after the flicker goes back on top. You draw 2 cards, so you draw 1 flicker and 1 extra card. So for 1 loop, you get to draw 1 card. Now you have to draw your deck to get to your win condition, which means you have to do like 30 or 40 loops.
Yeah.
So you're just flickering over and over and over and over. Once you get to the point where you actually finally do draw your deck, then you have to do another 30 or 40 loops so that you can actually mill your opponent. So you're doing like 100 loops. And just so many times people were like interrupting and trying to time you out. And there was definitely a time, I think it was in a premiere event, where there was a loop where you could use Seagate Oracle to do
Hmm.
the same thing. Because Seagate Oracle is a sleight of hand, so it sees the top 2 cards. You stack the triggers so that you put the flicker on, and then you have the Seagate Oracle. So Seagate Oracle is always going to pick the flicker of the top 2 cards. So you're not drawing cards, but you see every card in your deck in order. You get to the point where you see your Mold Drifter, then you note the card, then you flicker your entire deck X-2, where X is the deck size, that many times. And then you stack the triggers differently. So you pick the Mold Drifter first, and then you evoke the Drifter, and then get the flicker on top, and then do the whole loop all over again. It took like 18 minutes to accomplish the loop. I was like, I'm gonna make it.
I'll
Oh
say,
man.
do you have like a lot of people trying to get you on time playing like familiars? Because I've played against a lot of people who have just naturally lost out, like even game one running familiars before, where it's like
Yes.
I'm not even trying to play to clock, but like it's like they have like 2 minutes left on clock. We're still in game one, and they don't have like their win con ready to go yet. It's
Yeah.
like,
I mean, like I said, we have, in familiars, you're looking at the deck. Every single card is a decision.
mm-hmm,
So the only cards in the deck that are not decisions are the lands, Faithful and Sunscape Familiar. Everything else you have to do something. So you're always trying to make these decisions, and it adds a lot of clock usage, which is why like in paper I would always play a combo win because you have the shared clock, so you have to close the game quickly.
mm-hmm,
In Magic Online, you can get away with not playing the combo win as long as you can execute quickly, because you can use your own clock to however you're prepared to do so. Like
right,
what's interesting was like I wanted to talk about it. I was playing Mystic Sanctuary Familiars,
mm-hmm,
and like I said, it takes 18 minutes to execute the loop. I got all these actions I'm taking. It's crazy. I took it to an F and M, and the game was over on turn 4, and it's like, well, that's it. Okay, that wasn't very fun. I wanted to execute.
Yeah. That's like in my like I play a lot of Torex, and it's like that's a very click intensive deck too. But it's like, man, I feel like in paper that deck would just be so simple to run, where you don't have to click as much to go through everything.
The cat cow deck is 9 clicks per loop.
Yes, I know it's going to be intensive, but I'm excited. But do you do you think like Magic Online or in paper would be better for like a new player to like start off with? Do you think because Magic Online where it does everything automated, or do you think it'd be better to have that paper interaction first?
Well, I learned playing Magic Online because I think that's a really good way to learn the rules because they're all always happening. You can see the phases, you know what's happening, like priority things and stuff like that. It's really useful. But as far as like a user experience, I'm sure playing in paper is better because you get to hang out with your friends. Although, you know, you're going to miss actual real rule situations or not understand it.
Do you think Pauper is a good format for like new players to get into? Like, what do you think like the best? If somebody was saying, "Hey, I want to play Magic," what would you do to like get them into the game to like teach them?
Well, I think people have said that sealed is a really good place to start. I think limited is a good place because there's a lot less to know. I think you get a lot of value when when you know the card set that you're going to be interacting with. They also sell like the beginner packs or whatever. My wife and I picked out some of that just to do like this is a red deck, it does this. This is a green deck, it does this.
Right.
So if you want to like learn, but if you're interested in playing and you want to play with your friends, it's going to have to not be Pauper most of the time unless you have a local. And I'm shaking my desk. You have to play like standard or limited, and then if you want to play Magic Online, just Pauper is so affordable. You can get really cheap decks, and then as long as you win 50% of your matches like consistently, you'll be actually in the green as far as your monetary expenses. Because like you'll go 2-3, then 3-2. You make a little, you lose a little, and over time you end up making enough in ticks that you just go infinite. So that's been really nice. It's nice to have something that's just so free all the time.
Right. Do you think like with Pauper too is like it's one of those things like once you buy the heavier, more expensive staples, then the format becomes literally pennies. You know,
Yeah.
like once you get those, like you get your mana base bought up, which most of them are dirt cheap, but like you get your like depending on what you want to play, but like your dust to dusts or your snuff outs.
Yeah, but then
you
start tricking out your deck because I've got Pixel Land, I got Old Border Chancery Ash Barrens, Old Border Preordain. I have the fancy Muldrifter. My deck cost like 60 tickets or 50 tickets or something, and I priced it out to 250.
Yeah.
On Magic Online because the cards I chose because they're the most expensive of everything.
Just flexing. The bling bling though you can hold off on, but
right. Whereas in paper, I'm like, I did not buy Dust to Dust yet. I think they're going to ban the artifact land someday. Like, just the card acquisition in paper just takes so long.
I wish, in paper it's kind of different because like with the thing I like about online too is you buy 4 copies of it, and then there's no changing sleeves. There's no altering between decks. You can just pull it from your card pool into the deck. You're ready to go. But with paper, I've started because Pauper is still really inexpensive in paper. I started just buying some of the duplicates so I would have decks ready to go for if any of my friends wanted to play. Like I think I have like 7 Pauper decks. I mean, they need updated. It's been a few sets ago, but like I've got like 7 Pauper decks. Like if someone wants to play, we're ready to go. But I think
we had a lot of fun with that. I brought my decks. I bought a bunch of decks. I had like 6 or 7, and we would bring them to work, and then we had like a little mini lunch session, and we would all just roll a dice to see what we played. It was just pretty fun.
That's sweet.
I would definitely recommend doing that.
I feel like Pauper could be a good entry point for new players because of the inexpensiveness of it. Because you're not like dumping money into rotation like standard. Not to mention the decks are already cheaper than standard. Legacy is like a down payment for a car right now. Not Legacy. That's modern. Legacy is more like a down payment for a house right now.
Right.
So
yeah,
I feel like
this
Pauper
deck
could
that
be
I got
a good
that was
format.
relatively cheap. 4 of the cards are $5,000.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy because like uh when I started playing into like more constructed and looking at modern and stuff, like your top tier modern decks was like $400 or $500, and then your legacy decks were like 1,000 to 1,500, and it's like crazy to see now legacy decks have hit like 5 figures. It's like,
Yeah.
what is going on?
I mean, it's just eternal formats. That's what happens.
Mm-hmm. Do you think like in terms of Magic, I've heard a lot of the community kind of, a lot of them say yes, some say no. Do you think they're putting out too much product right now? What are your thoughts on that?
It's hard to like react to that, because if they didn't put out a lot of product, then the format would get stale and not very fun. We
Mm-hmm.
played like Tron versus Boros versus Fairies for like 2 years, and then things changed. But if they put things out that too often, it feels like you're overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of safety in Pauper in that case because you don't have to memorize every card. So I do like that as well. It does feel really overwhelming, and a lot of the stuff I just simply ignore. Like I don't even pay attention to the rares and the uncommons. I just
Right.
wait for it. Like just it's too much volume. It
Do you
feels like a lot.
do you think with Pauper first? I want to ask: is there any card you want to see downgraded for Pauper that you'd like get your hands
Um,
on?
well, I think I mean, for me, that's just the question there is just like, what's the most fun thing for you to do that you could do if they let you?
Mm-hmm.
So probably Eternal Witness would be the most busted thing that I
That
could
would be
work with.
awesome. That would be sweet. Eternal Witness would be
Imagine
awesome.
Eternal Witness Flicker deck, just be absurd. Plus, Eternal Witness is good against land destruction, right? You get your land right back
Yeah,
if you can
true.
get the 3.
Um,
Just downshift Tendrils of Agony. I'm ready. Make it easy.
and then also with that, what was I gonna say? It was with Pauper. Oh, when you're home brewing and stuff, and you're like brewing up these decks and coming together, like how do you go about the card pool? Like, how do you find cards to fit into this thing? Like, what's your process in searching out these cards and finding them?
Well, most of the time, like I said, I'm just kind of shifting things a little teeny bit. So I already knew Storm existed. Just take
Mm-hmm.
that Storm Shell and see if there's a win condition that we can use, like the pingers or trying to play the weather combo. So it comes down most of the time to me opening up the collection on Magic Online, and then I sort it by CMC so I can see it easier, and then I just
Mm-hmm.
like move cards in and out, see how it looks, and then run it a couple times in solitaire, see how it feels over and over until I find like a position where it works. Like for example, we started with Poison Storm with 14 lands and a bunch of rituals because that's like a storm shell,
Mm-hmm.
and kept adding lands, adding lands, adding lands, and eventually, we right now we're at 19 lands, and then the 4 thirsting roots. So that seems like a pretty good spot for you to have your opening hands go okay. You can also use something like the hypergeometric calculator to determine whether or not you have the right number of lands. So on Ultratron and Eggstron, we start out with 16 lands, and then Eggs has a bunch of 1-drops, so I still think 17 is good. Whereas with Ultratron, I'm definitely leaning on 18. And you can see, like, okay, well, what if I have this? What's the percentage chance of that happening? So that kind of thing. When I was playing Relay a lot, I was trying to figure out if I wanted to just have more card draw and find the relay and then hit it, or like a transmuter for relay. So that was another thing that took like, okay, I'm going to run a bunch of games, or I'm going to use the hypergeometric calculator, see what the odds are. I was
Gotcha.
doing that with the Mono Blue Twiddle Storm in Modern as well, because Mono Blue you don't have a way to search up the Lotus Field, but I was playing like a ridiculous amount of cantrips, hoping that you find Lotus Field in every 15 cards.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a good keep. You see 15 cards, hope to get there. Like that's the odds.
um, do you think like how much math? Because you're talking about the calculator and stuff. Like how much math is going into the process of like figuring out the right number? I'm terrible at math, so that's why I'm like, how much math are you doing to try to figure out the right numbers on things?
Well, the quick calculations are if you have a cantrip, it like for every 2 cantrips, like Preordain or Ponder, it's -1 land, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just go from there. Otherwise, not too much math. Mostly just that's only like for the storm deck and stuff. Other than that, I'm just trying to make things as low to the ground as possible, and that's been the situation like in Pauper because you're so punished for mulligans right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just everything is so strong in the early game that you have to like be really super consistent. And I mean, it sounds silly, but the thing I'm going back and forth on right now is in the familiars list, I have two brokers hideouts, and I can't decide if they should be tranquil coves or brokers hideouts. And that's something I changed like all the time, and I just still haven't gotten a feel for. So I'm leaning one way, but then like okay, if I take my fetches and I turn them into a tap land, I'm more likely to flood. But by how much? Should I be 22 lands? Stuff like that.
Yeah. What do you think like the best deck in the format right now is, or like what the best decks are right now?
I think that Burn has the best top end, best ceiling,
Mm-hmm.
because they'll just kill you turn 3. And then the second, like the best deck in the format is probably just Affinity. If people can hit the Affinity correctly and like, tech correctly. I think a lot of people are afraid of just running it because it can be brutal to try to play around hate. I
Mm-hmm.
think people just don't want to play around hate. And then I think Familiars is super strong, and I think Altertron is low key one of the best decks. You saw that they won Powergeddon, and if you have a deck that can just win out of nowhere on turn 3 or turn 4, like that's really powerful.
Yeah.
And it's just really hard to interact with it. It completely smashes a lot of the higher tier decks. But then you're running into a situation where you get Ponzed out of the game or whatever. Although I did survive triple raise for winning the match earlier.
Nice. So when you're doing these videos and stuff, and you're like, we played some decks, some pretty fun decks here today. How far do you have to get to a point before you go, all right, we can do this as a video? Like, are
Oh
you
man,
pretty willing to like out of the gate be like, here, we'll show you how this started, or like, are you wanting a pretty fine tuned up list before you decide to go through a video?
my like perfectionist self wants to have something that's working that I know is working
Mm-hmm.
that I've already tested. But then people have been really they've been really nice about seeing things that try and fail. So I
Mm-hmm.
think doing that every now and then is good. I don't really like going out of the comfort zone and trying a deck that I know is a good deck in the format that I just have no idea how to play.
Mm-hmm.
But that also gets people involved, so we'll see.
Do you think it's
I
good to play? Sorry, you go.
I just think that like I've sort of built this persona of like I know what I'm talking about. You should do this. So
Right.
if I take a deck that I have no idea what I'm talking about and I'm making a lot of decisions, like I don't have any idea what I'm doing. I'm gonna bold face.
um.
Sometimes I feel like that's not the most entertaining. I just like to watch videos where people know what they're doing, or the deck is really crazy.
Yeah.
Like I follow a person on that's a legacy player, Tony Scaponi. He created this a relay storm deck that's really sweet, and then he was doing this weird series where he wanted to play Belcher in every color combination. So he played like mono red Belcher, mono blue Belcher, mono white Belcher. Like, is it Belcher? Like, it's so strange, but it's so awesome. It's so very, and that was sort of like the same thing that I was doing. We're like, oh, I'm going to take Tron. I'm going to make Familiars Tron. I'm going to take regular Tron. I'm going to take Alder Tron. I'm going to take H Tron. We're going to do Reanimator Tron. We're going to do big dumb stuff Tron.
I have
See
to.
how it goes.
I know you're a big Tron guy, so I have to tell you this story of the meanest thing I've ever done in Magic was against a Tron player. It was modern Tron, and I was playing Dredge, and I just kept dredging Ghosts, Life of the Loom, and just ghostly quartered them every single turn until they had
Yep.
just nothing on board.
The last Pauper showcase that I joined, or was a PTQ, was 5-1. So it was like a win and in, maybe. And then I went 6-2 because I paired up against Jeskai Ephemerate, and I won game 1 on turn 3. Had infinite golems on turn 3. And then the next 2 games they wildfired me into oblivion.
Ooh.
Like no chance. Just kill
Yeah.
every single land you have. It was so backbreaking, especially after getting to that point. Like I went downstairs. I'm like, I need like a lot of time.
I know. I felt pretty bad doing it to the dude because I've played him before and he's a cool guy. And I was just like, I felt bad. I just kept doing it, but I'm like, I'm sorry, man. I got to do it. It's like I don't have anything else going on right now.
Yeah, that happens. I think if you're looking to try to not get tilted, you just have to make sure that you feel like you analyze the decisions that you made,
Hmm.
and determine if you made the decisions that were correct in the moment and whether or not you could have done anything differently. It's the only way you're really going to learn.
Hmm.
But it's very. I definitely get emotionally invested more often than I should, and get really angry. I try not to do that on the videos, but sometimes like I'm like,
It's
yes,
hard not
taste
to,
it.
right?
But you
Sometimes
have
it's
to
hard not
remember
to.
that even though you're on Magic Online, there is a person on the other end
Hmm.
who may or may not be uh, unhappy about what you're doing. So
Yeah, I've had a few people where I do a lot of the tournament queues, just not to sink a lot of money into the leagues quite yet. I want to get to the point to where I can like start trying to do leagues more often, but I've
mhm.
played some wacky stuff that I think has like maybe tilted people because I do something and then they just like they're gone. Just like it's like oops.
Yeah, you play Storm deck in the tournament practice, you get 2 turns in, I would quit the match. I
Right.
just don't feel like doing this.
I
But
yeah.
I think
Or
you could just like pick a deck that you're pretty confident in, and just play a couple. You could even just sink $20 into it and then be like, hey, this is cheaper than a movie.
mhm.
See what happens.
It's
Because once you
true.
go infinite, you're like, okay, now I'm not leaving my house. I'm just gonna keep playing.
Right? That's what yeah, I'm still sitting on like 150 player points right now, but I'm like I don't know a deck I feel confident to run through a league right now because I've just been playing a bunch of random stuff. Do you think
Yeah,
playing a lot of different decks, especially like tier decks, helps you out like learn kind of how to play against the deck? Do you think that kind of like sharpens you up a little bit?
it seems to be the case. Yeah, I mean, playing when I played Mono Blue, I realized that from their perspective, it's not as brutal as from your perspective. Like they go fairy ninja, they
Mhm.
might not have the game locked, so you have a little bit more confidence in what you're doing, or at least know how to disrupt it. Because you
Mhm.
play the deck and then you get murdered, you're like, oh, that's how you win against this deck.
Right. Um
Just play life game.
So if someone's wanting they've been playing Magic and they want to come into and it doesn't have to be Pauper, but they're wanting to come into a more competitive scene, what piece of advice would you give them then?
Well, I think, like I said, the most important thing for competitive Magic is knowing the card pool.
Hmm.
So watching videos of people playing that format or reading about it helps a lot. Reading up on what the decks are so you know what to expect, because sequencing is mostly based around what do you think your opponent is going to do. And
And
also what is your own plan? How are you going to enact your own plan?
right. And then also I just want to know as you're like tinkering with these decks and stuff, do you take inspiration or ideas from other formats to kind of like help you kind of morph the deck you're trying to get to run? Like maybe take
I don't
ideas
know.
from
I
other decks, from other
What I've seen
formats?
lately is that every format is just Pauper.
Yeah.
Because Legacy is Initiative and Delver. We got Pioneer with this Kuldotha Rebirth deck. There's a Kuldotha Rebirth aggro deck in Modern. Like it's all Pauper. They just take the best commons and kill people with them, plus with some rares.
I saw this funny video. I can't remember who it was. It was on YouTube Shorts though, where this guy was like, when you play Pauper against I think it was either Legacy or Modern. It was like Pauper Burn versus I think it was like Legacy or Modern Burn. And he's like, I'm finally gonna trash you. And the guy's like, okay. And then he's like, they do the back and forth, and then the Burn guy's
Like,
like, and you're dead. He's like, it's turn 3. He's like, oh, sorry.
yeah.
Like, so it's kind of
Other
funny.
formats have really good hosers, so that's the thing that Pauper is missing right now, is just good hosers.
Yeah. I'll say yeah,
Like
I've
or
come to really fall in love with Pauper. I really like the format a lot. It's got a lot of sweet cards in it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's just what's the most crazy thing I can do with the restricted card pool, which I like.
Hmm.
And cantrips. I like cantrips.
It's got a fair share of graveyard stuff, and I like graveyard stuff, so I'm
Yeah,
here
you
for
can
it.
find your niche. It's sweet.
Yeah, there's not rest in
Anything
peace
is
yet,
like pushed
so
out. Yeah, just everybody's playing 6 relics.
yep. I was playing a Torex deck not too long ago, and someone was just like mainboarding like graveyard hate. I'm like, oh no, it's like that's not good.
There's a guy that plays Naya Gates with 4 relics in the main deck, so yep, don't run into
Oof.
that.
Yeah, that'd be rough. That would be rough. But yeah, I want to say thank you for doing this. It was awesome to chat to you. It was nice to meet you
Yeah,
too.
nice to meet you too. Thanks
Um,
for talking.
I know we've played a few times in the past against each other. I don't know if you remember, or not, but we have played a few times. So I actually like get to talk to you and stuff was really cool. So I really appreciate it.
Awesome.
And yeah, I think we're good to go from there. Any say goodbye or any last things you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, if anybody wants to check out my videos, it's youtube.com/Kalikaiz, Kalikaiz. Like I said, I just made that up, so it's hard to spell. And then I have a Patreon where I have deck guides for Ultratron Familiars and Poison Storm. Trying to see if I can make anything else broken so I can put deck guides on those too. But I'm not going to just have a random Mono Blue Fairies deck guide because I have no idea what I'm talking about. So hopefully it's valuable. I did a couple of coaching sessions with people, which was really fun too. That
Oh,
one
that's
guy
cool.
gave me a tournament report, which was awesome. Post sport, he said something like the sideboarding tilted his opponent into oblivion. So he was excited.
So, jump off that, I guess. How do you go about coaching somebody in Magic? Like,
Well,
what's that
we
like?
just did like an hour or 2 hour session, and it has to do with explaining the way the deck operates from my perspective,
Hmm.
how sideboarding operates, and what your differently, basically like what your plans are, and how to decide what the plans are during the game, just based on specifics. One person needed a full format overview. One person wanted to go specific into a deck. So that's really kind of the stuff that I would talk about.
That's cool. That's
Just
cool.
from having played thousands and thousands of matches, I feel like I have a perspective in there.
Right. Do you have any other like socials or anything to plug?
It's Jakeals, Jake ALS on Twitter, or you can probably search Kalikaiz to find me there.
Okay, I didn't know you
And
had a
then on
Twitter. If I known that, I would have tried to reach out to you on Twitter.
maybe I should put my socials in the deck descriptions
Yeah. Well, you can
on the
also
YouTube.
link on YouTube. You can actually link to where when you click on your page, it'll have like a little Twitter icon in the corner that will send you straight to your Twitter. You can link.
All right, there we go.
So,
I usually post when I do a 5-0 or like when I'm working on something
mhm.
or when I'm grumpy about some cards.
Anything else? Any other socials? I'll make sure to have everything down in the description below for
Yeah,
you.
if you join the Castle of Commons Discord or the Familiars Discord, you can get involved in that. And then we have a storm specific Discord that we created where I do a lot of the discussions about the Tron decks as well as like the Poison Storm. And then if you're in the tri-state area in the Northeast, we started a Discord for trying to coordinate local FNMs that hopefully we're hoping to eventually propel that into some sort of large scale tournament
That'd be
where you
really
could
cool.
get, upwards of 200 people. That would be pretty sick if we could do that someday.
Yeah, that'd be
The
awesome.
last 1K we went to had 50 people, so we're hoping to get between 50 and 100 this time.
That'd be cool. Dude, when you're organizing like a tournament like that, do you have to have like sanctions from Wizards or can you run your own
I
thing? Like,
imagine you do. I have not tried to do that yet. This is like, starting at the ground, just trying to get FNMs up.
mhm.
And then if you can get 20 people in every city going off, then hopefully they'll want to come and play a large tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool. Cause that's what I was kind of wondering was like, I thought it'd be cool to try to get Pauper stuff at my LGS to fire off. I work nights, so I have a hard time being able to like go in store.
Yeah.
But like to actually like be able to like fire off like Pauper and stuff, and it's like wonder like if you could just like host your own tournament, or if like you would have to be like sanctioned from Wizards to do anything.
Well, you can do, if you just show up to the store, you can run a tournament on the companion app.
Mm-hmm.
So if people show up, you can just do it for no prizes. The store can run it, the sanction app, or you can just you can even just do unsanctioned with proxies and stuff, which gets people in the door a lot faster.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I found the issue that we mostly had was that people might not show up because they don't know if it's going to happen. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why I was trying to get people on the Discord so that they all know, hey, it's really easy to communicate and it's really easy to say, hey, I'm going to be there, I'm not going to be there.
Yeah, that was one thing before COVID, because I live in a university town. So during the summer when college kids are gone, there was like I don't know, like five of us who would this was
Right.
back when I was working days, would go and try to play in store. And so it was like you get there, and I moved closer to where that store is now, but it used to be like a 20-minute drive. So you'd like drive 20 minutes and then maybe you wouldn't fire off. And so sometimes
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
a huge pain.
do I want to like try to drive down there, or do I just want to like me and my friends just play here, you know, like the four of us just play here? Or do we want to try to go down there? So it's hard to like, yeah, if you had like some kind of like hub, like social hub or something where a lot of these people
Yeah.
were in, just being like, hey, just trying to take a head count, like that would be a good.
We tried to
good
use
practice.
Facebook for that originally, and just never
Mhm.
really happened. It's too slow, the method of communication. But I think a local Discord is like probably the way to go. Maybe our regional one is just going to expand into FNM Communique
Yeah.
someday. But yeah, I really like Discord. I'm a huge proponent. It's been really how I've been able to learn and share ideas. So yeah, if you're interested in any of the decks that I'm interested in, definitely check it out.
Yeah. And then sorry, my dog brought me his chicken. So outside of that, you got the Twitter, the YouTube, Patreon, Discord, anything else?
No, that's pretty much what I'm about.
All right, cool. All right, if you want to say bye, I'll close this out, and then I got a few things I need to ask you before we bounce. So.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming. We'll see you in the next video.
I just want to say thank you again to Kalikaiz or Saidin.Raken. I super appreciate doing this interview. All of his links will be in the description down below if you want to go follow him. He makes great content and he is a great player as well. If you want to support this channel, you can consider becoming a member or just subscribing. That all goes a long way, and also my links will be down in the description down below as well. And thank you for tuning in. And once again, thank you Saidin.Raken aka Kalikaiz for doing the interview. Peace.